So continue on about the subject matter. Uh, the characters in display here are what's my old character, Darkblight. He's a samurai, and he's one of my old friends. His name was Baki. He was a Beastmaster, and he absolutely loved Beastmaster, and I would try to get him, leveled up and hook him up with XP parties back in the Outer Gone days, before Bissia. Back in the day, you guys don't know, but Beastmaster was extremely discriminated against. Even before Beastmaster couldn't even level in parties because their beast would count as another person. So Square Enix, they eventually changed that, but it was a big problem for Beastmasters to get parties, and that's why I say it was kind of fun and funny that Beastmasters, at one point, they could actually kill your party. Like they would grab a monster, like in Valcom Dunes, they would grab a monster, drop the monster next to you, next to your party, and then your party would like aggro it. So it was so evil, but it was so funny and so fun at the same time. And it's for good. It's for good. We're good, right too, because Beastmasters had it really hard. Like if you were a level 70 or 55 Beastmaster, actually, because at one point actually in the American servers there was a cap. I think there was a little 50 cap. Now I didn't play during that era. I missed it by a couple of months, but my brother did. If you were level 50 Beastmaster at that time, you were the man because you had to level up uh, by killing the little pets, the pets that the monsters have, like the Beastmaster pets. And if you died, it took away so much XP, and it was so hard. It was such a big step backwards that I personally couldn't do it. So I did Beastmaster for a little bit, and then I stopped playing it until they actually made it so that you can party with Beastmaster. After that, Beastmaster was so easy. It's a joke. That's the other thing you guys don't understand is level sync and all this other bullshit that happened. Like it made the game unbalanced and too meta dependent. You guys are too focused on meta, and it like kind of burns the game. It kind of makes the game kind of lame as fuck. But this is what you want to do. You want to play like boring. Everybody's the same kind of level. Everybody's the same fucking class. Oh, I'm a paladin warrior. Oh, I'm a ninja warrior. I'm a dark knight ninja. Dude, blah 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 blah. Same thing over and over and over again. See, when you had no level sync, you had to make you had to make fundamental and calculated risks, compromises, and changes. Sometimes you had to let the monk tank, for instance. You had no choice. There were no options. There were no paladins. There were no warriors. There were no ninjas. There was only the monk, and the monk had to tank. Believe it or not. Okay. Now, in this crazy time span where there was no level sync, I had the most insane idea in my head that you could make a white mage tank. But I was never allowed to try that. Too much of a first off, I was too much of a coward to do it myself. Second, no one has ever did it. No one has given it a real chance. But if you think about it, all the tools are there, right? To tank as a white mage, all the tools are there. I have sub tanked as a white mage, and it had worked extremely good. And I had a SATA partner in this. I was had two thieves, and the thief would SATA me, and he would SATA the warrior, and that was in a level 50-ish party around Altepa. It was, by the way, I don't recommend those parties. When you find those Antica, they're disgustingly difficult, tr- terrible monsters. They're like impossible to XP on. But I know I made it happen, and I actually made it happen in this lame ass server Horizon as well. But the thing is, it was a whole different kind of game back then. You had a lot more respect for your fellow players, and there weren't people bossing you around like, "Oh, you got to play this way," and "Oh, you got to do this." No, 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 no. Shut up. Play the game and look at my character's actions, not my character's words, okay? Look at the actions. Look at where I am standing. Look at the moves that I'm doing. Don't worry about typing. Back then, it was a luxury that you would be able to type if you had a keyboard. So most people had PS2s because people were not as um, they weren't as literate with computers. You know, remember this was like during a time where people were using HTML to go around through MySpace. You know, so this is the age that we were dealing with. There was very little voice chat. In fact, if you wanted to use voice chat during this era, and I'm talking about the 2005 or early-ish, around somewhere around there, 2005 to 2008, around there, I don't really remember, but you had to pay. You had to pay to have a voice chat server, and the amount of frustration that this game would imbue in a person was astronomical. I'm telling you, I am not innocent in this, and I say this with the utmost um, uh, regret and integrity. I would sometimes lose my shit with this game when it came to the Chains of Promathia missions and how ruthless they were, or how annoying the drop rates were for in Sky. There were many a times I stopped playing the game because this was just it was just too much. The game required too much, and that's what a lot of these players are. A lot of these newer guys, or these veterans, they forget. They forget that they forget where they come from. They forget where this game has come from and how far has this game come. And they have no respect or no understanding of how the game actually is supposed to be played. Okay? The game is supposed to be played so you have fun. Fun is first and foremost, not DPS, not damage scaling, not damage looking. If you do that, then you make the game boring and everybody plays the same and it's not fun and it's lame and it's cookie cutter. And I like to thank you guys for ruining it, for doing that. But I understand that you have to make things practical and people have lives. I get it, right? But this is how I feel, okay? And this is what makes me really upset when I hear people talking about oh, Bard can't be white mage. I mean, Bard can have sub the white mage. So, like, what are you talking about? It was like you. What are you talking about? Like, did you even play like when this game first came out? Probably not, because if you did, you would know that that was a staple, and sometimes you had no choice, and that's how the game is. It's not about um, specking everything the meta. You can't always have your way. Now you can, because it's so easy. You get all the maps and you have all the hacks and stuff. But back then you didn't have maps, you didn't have hacks, you didn't even know what level the monsters were in Valkyrie Dunes. You didn't even know what level they were. Sometimes you would pull a crab, and the crab would kill your whole party because it was like two or three levels above the XP party, and you didn't know. It was extremely random. These are the days when Square Enix, was slowly trickling out content. And Chains of Promathia had just released, so they were really trying to milk your time, really disrespect your time. But us players, we made it work. We destroyed our lives in the process. A lot of people cheated. And when I say cheated, some people soft cheated, and some people hard cheated. Some people bought kill. Look, I'm not innocent. I did all that crap, and I am man enough to say that I did these things. It's not because I'm proud of doing it, but it's just there's no real sense of integrity in this community. Before, at least, now it is. That's what's good about Horizons. They take this stuff seriously, supposedly, right? But that's another story. So yeah, my thing is, I feel like a lot of the new guys, it's just they think they know what they're talking about, but they just need to calm down. It's just a game, it's just a game. And right now, in the current state of things, It seems like everyone's becoming like level 100 fishing, which is great, but what about the other crafts? What about like smithing or goldsmithing or I don't know. It's just this is what happens when you just kind of like streamline things and everybody knows where you got to go and what you got to do. It kind of breaks the game a little bit. That's why I think it'd be nice to have like a newer version of this game where they changed things up, and they didn't like they almost sort of like like how Resident Evil has like a random mode on it. Like some of them have a random. If you play a certain Resident Evil, it has like a random to it. If they would re-release this, they would absolutely have to do that because what would happen is like the same thing would happen. What happens in every these MMORPGs? Everybody rushes to the top, rushes to the front, and they just stop playing, or there is a lack of a certain job, right? Um, Speaking of jobs, I think they should also release. They should just release Blue. They should release Corsair and Puppet Master, and just get it over and done with. Or try something different, like release a Ruin Fencer and what's the other one? The monk, the other monk, the Bell monk, and see what that does. But I understand. I don't know who's really doing this. I don't know if it's actually Square Enix doing this server. I have no idea. But I really wish that all these players who played here, they've actually played retail. I tried retail, and unfortunately, nobody plays retail anymore. People who play retail are just hackers and RMTing. So it's not really that much fun, and it's come to a point where like one person will buy a whole bunch of multi accounts and just multi box, and it's like, then what's the point? What's the point of playing the game if you're gonna do that? It means nothing. It's literally you're buying your way to the top. Before there was no buying your way to the top. There was no sort of merking. You know why nobody merked? Because nobody wanted to do that work. Nobody. It was just too hard. And that's the thing that changed, though. Slowly trickled in, slowly allowed people to buy Gil and to merc. But God forbid, you say a bad word and shout, you go to jail. But you have people selling, you have people selling Gil for real money, like in the chat, like in the Yale chat, in retail. You can do that, but you can't say fuck. Totally absurd. But I was a little sidetracked, of course, but those colibri parties were amazing. Um, and they were those birds got abused by Pentrathrust and dragoons. And that's why at that time everyone everyone loved dragoon. When at level 50, 50, I think it's like 52 to 55, something like that. Everybody loved dragoon because dragoon's Pentrathrust and their hits, they hit those birds so hard, ridiculously hard. And it would come to a point where even like samurais would use them, and I think even even warriors. I remember warriors, samurais, and if I'm not mistaken, sometimes even Dark Knights would use the fucking pole armor of those stupid birds, just to demolish them. It was so ridiculously overpowered, and it was fun, which also makes me think, why is it that everyone is rushing to 75? When you're rushing to 75 before those expansions comes out, you are seriously undermining the amount of fun you're about to have at level 50, because level 50 to level 60 in Horizon in old school Final Fantasy 11. This is not by the way, this is not really old school Final. This is some perverted uh Happy Meal version of old school Final Fantasy. Just like let you guys know where you stand and what's going on, right? This is like a fakeo hardcore version of Final Fantasy 11, but it's good and I appreciate it nonetheless. that it's a real slog. Even with all these like Happy Meal like give me's, it's still a slog. It's disgusting and it's really slow. Like 50 to like 60 fucking sucks. There's not enough camps and it's slow as shit. And the camps are too far away. When uh, when uh, when Whitegate came out, when Ottergon came out, that's when the fun started happening. When you started leveling like you were in Valcom Dunes, you were leveling like you were in Quiffum. Like it was a breeze. It was fun. It was quick, right? And I don't think it was detrimental to any of those other party camps. Those other party camps sucked ass. What are you talking about? They sucked ass. Nobody wants to travel 30 to 40 minutes to go to a camp. It's ridiculous. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. It's not fun. It's stupid. What's fun in Final Fantasy 11 is having fun in XP parties. Because XP parties are fucking brainless, and you're just wailing on the mob, and you're just doing whatever your little autistic character is doing, like you're singing songs, or you're shooting, or you're weapon skilling, or you're summoning, or it's just easy and fun. That is the funnest part to me anyway in Final Fantasy 11, and it'll never change because I've tried all those end game contents. It's just too much annoyance. It's not the fun part of the game. The fun part of the game is the XP party, and when the thing is, you guys are what are you doing when you give these players the level sync before they earned it? Is you're breaking the meta. You're making it so that everybody does the same thing. And when everybody does the same thing, it's not fun. Nobody feels special. Nobody feels different. Nobody feels like they've conquered or thought critically to conquer the game and conquer the system, because another part of the game is thinking critically. That was taken away from you when you have level sync, right? Another thing about this game is item management, right? There was no extra bags, none of this during this era. None of that bullshit. Nothing. There was no three auction house slots. None of that. Anyway, I'm running out of time. It was a blessing talking about the game, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank you. Bye bye.